Hey man,
Thank
how
you.
you going? All right?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, bro. Good. Yeah, it's all happening this morning. You look like you're in a really cool place. I like that. Where are you at now?
I'm just at my house. Yep. It's I keep showing everybody that it's snowed a foot so far and keeps coming down. So I'm excited to get over there because I guess it's summer over there. So it's gonna be a nice change.
Mate, you are in for an absolute shock. Because it is brutal. It is so
Oh,
brutally hot. And it's like a complete change.
well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's any better than you know, how cold it is right now. I guess my life is just two different extremes constantly.
It would be strange like that, you know. You get off the plane, you're expecting it to, and then you're like, oh, here we go. But have you been here before? I mean, not toured. This is your first tour, but have you ever been down to Australia just for a visit? It's a little popping.
Never. Never.
Wow.
Yeah. My first time ever in Australia.
That's incredible, man. Like what are you kind of expecting? What are your expectations of Australia? What's because everyone sort of thinks that we're all you know, people run around with kangaroos and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like the American perception of Australia, basically. I just know the stereotypes of, koala bears and Vegemite and kangaroos and, the Irwin family. That's like
yes.
the extent of what I know. But, actually, I keep telling everyone my sister actually lives in Manly. And I've
Oh wow.
never Yeah, she's lived there for 3 years, and I've never got to visit her, so this would be my first time visiting her.
You know what? I'm hearing that a lot of late from like bands that are coming through that they've got close relatives down here that they maybe
Yeah,
haven't seen in a little while that have it seems like everyone's coming here. So
I and
everyone's moving.
America America is insane sometimes, so it just seems like a more laid back culture down there, to be honest.
Oh mate, you're gonna love it. You're gonna have the best time, you know.
I
And people are
wait.
hanging to see you live. You know, you're gonna full live band and everything cranking it up, turning it to 11. It's gonna be amazing.
All the way to 11. Yeah, we're excited. And, I've had a lot of friends play in Australia, and they're like, you're going to love it. The crowds are so good there. So I'm excited.
Are there any Aussie bands or artists that you've connected with or even follow that you'd love to meet up with when you're down here? Maybe some mates.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm like, in terms of like Australian culture, I'm like on an island. I think it's going to just be a shock for me, to be honest. I mean, I have a little bit of a family connection there, but
Hmm.
no, I do love, I mean, they're blowing up, but I do love the chats.
Oh
Um,
yes, yes.
do they and I don't think it gets more Australian than them. It seems like listening to that Smoko song, I'm like, this has got to be Australia, just like encapsulated. So yeah, I'm just expecting everyone in Australia to have the same haircut as the dude from the chats.
You're in for a rude surprise, but not everyone. Not it. Some. It's. I think it's like 50-50. But
Yeah.
we don't all have them.
Killer.
But your latest full length album, Trauma Factory, came out in 2021. But you've released some singles in between as well, which are really good. Now, you know, touring is all happening again, and fans have had time to sort of sit with that album, get used to it, learn the lyrics. Have you been finding that it's connecting with people now that you're hitting the road full time again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I released my last record, Trauma Factory, it was, basically peak pandemic. So, you hear but like people saying nice things, and you see the numbers on social media and on the internet. But at the end of the day, I really believe that the internet is not real life. So it wasn't until my last headliner that I just did in the US this past year, and then I just got back from Europe. It was seeing everyone know the words. I'm kind of on stage like, oh shit, like people actually like the album. So it's like it's such a bizarre experience for like 2 years. a year and a half to go by and me just not playing those songs live to doing it now, it's like, it's a shock, and I'm stoked that people like it, you know?
Can you clear something up for me though? Is that Jonathan Banks, you know, Mike from Breaking Bad, doing the spoken word on the intro?
No, it's not Jonathan Banks. And that's funny because my girlfriend and I literally just finished an episode of Breaking Bad before I did this interview. Yeah, I already watched it, but I'm making her watch it again because it's, you know, it's Breaking Bad. But it's not. I wish it was. It's actually a friend of mine who lives here in Vermont that I met randomly. And he just has a crazy voice, and we call him the White Wolf.
He's got, man, he so does. He's got that wise sort of being around the block voice. And I kept listening to it and going, I know that voice, but I don't know the voice. I was like, it has to be Jonathan, but I was way off, obviously. But that dude should just be, if I want that guy to narrate my life, get him.
I know.
You know what I mean? That guy's got the coolest voice.
Yeah, it was funny because, you know, in a lot of the early Nothing Nowhere stuff for 2 years, I didn't show my face, and I would have the White Wolf in my videos in place of me. So I would be everywhere, and people are like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And people might not ever know exactly who the White Wolf is, but he's always going to keep showing up. I can guarantee that.
I love that. I love that myth, but it's so good. But you know, it is a really great album, and I particularly love like the heavy stuff on there, like the breakdown in Death is so sick, man. Like,
thank you.
Oh man, I was mowing the lawn to it yesterday, and just, I got stuff done. And but you know, in saying that, there's songs like Real, which is very honest and dealing with, you know, depression and anxiety and being creative, and that is something I found super relatable, man. Like, you know, and just like in the song, I'm sure you've heard out there on the road from fans coming up to you in random places and how it's connected with them.
Yeah, it's never lost on me. You know how amazing music can be to make a connection with another human being. You know, it's I grew up, you know, finding solace and really like doing like self-medicating with music, you know, and that really helps me. So it's really special for kids to come up to me now and be like, hey, this song really helped me. This last album you did really, you know, a lot of times they say it saved my life. And I'm like, you know, that's super important to me. That's, you know, it feels like I have a purpose in life. And that's like, what more can you ask for, you know?
In the song, you mentioned, you know, a kid coming up to you. Did that actually happen at the,
yeah.
You know, is that a true story in the song?
Yeah. Yep. It's one of many instances where I guess in that song, I'm sort of grappling with, you know, sometimes people will treat musicians or someone they look up to as someone larger than life or like a model citizen, where, you know, at the same time, flawed human being. And I have in the past put a lot of pressure on myself to be, you know, all there all the time. But I think the solution or the remedy to that is to just be super raw and visceral in my music, to just portray myself as a normal dude, because that's all I am. I just play guitar, and I basically have my diary is my songs, you know.
I love it, man. I love it. It's, you know, you do it very well, brother. You do it very well. You know, you go, I'm just a normal dude, but you know, I just play guitar like a badass motherfucker, and I can do all. You got something going on there, man.
I need you to hype me up sometimes, you know.
Just, hey, I could be your White Wolf, just the red Australian one that goes, yeah, mate, you're doing a good job. But you have a new track coming out in a couple of days called Thirst for Violence, I believe, with Freddie Dredd and Silverstein. Now, what I've heard of that so far, it's heavy as fuck, and I love it, dude. Like, tell me how this has come about.
Yeah, so Thirst for Violence, I wrote it with my friends. I wrote it with Blake Hardman, who plays guitar for me in my live band. And I also wrote it with a couple of other friends. And really, it's just my influence for that is just my love for nu metal growing up. And, it's got shades of post-hardcore as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I finished the song and I thought it was done, but I was like, I think we could take it to the next level. So I hit up Shane from Silverstein to do the screams, and I'm glad I did because he's just so good. And then I actually somehow got Freddie Dredd on there because I wanted, another rapper as well, and he absolutely murders his verse. I'm excited for people to hear it. So I'm really excited. We played it on the last tour in Europe, and it wasn't even released, and it went the hardest every night, and no one knew the song, so I can't wait for in Australia when we play it and everyone knows it. I can't imagine how fun it's going to be.
That's going to be so sick, dude. I mean, looks like you've been teasing some big stuff though, like on the socials. Is it part of a bigger concept or, some collaborations or a new album or?
Yeah, I have a new album coming out. Yeah, I do. I have not dropped, as of this interview right now, I have not dropped the release date, but it will be very soon, potentially within the next week of us talking about this. So yeah, I have a new album coming out. It has amazing features. I already dropped the songs, Cyanide featuring Pete Wentz, Misery Syndrome with Buddy from Census Fail, and now we have Thirst for Violence with Freddie and it's Silverstein. And then in addition to that, there's like 5 more features on the record, and they're all from, really heavy bands, hardcore bands, deathcore bands. So this is my heaviest record I've ever made. And I'm really excited to basically just start a new chapter.
That's so sick. It's man, because I saw the teaser and you had everything like featuring XX, and I was like, I gotta know. I need to know.
Yeah.
You'll give me a sneaky, but nah, you're keeping it to your chest, aren't you?
I feel like, people will lose their mind when they see who this is. It's really like, it's all just my idols, really, just people that I really admire. And I'm so grateful that they're on my record. Like, they made it really special. So.
See, I guess that would be something really satisfying, that you've gotten to a place in your career now where I mean, look at who you've collaborated with already, but
yeah,
calling up people that you've looked up to, growing up and going, hey man, you want to jump on this record? And they're like, yeah, man, let's go. It must be such a cool feeling,
Yeah, it's so surreal. I had to work through a lot of like imposter syndrome about it. I felt like it was kind of a fluke for a while. Like, my success was a fluke. So I had to do a lot of internal work and being like, nah, man, like, I worked really hard. I started playing guitar when I was 12. I started recording myself when I was 12, and I worked really hard to be where I'm at. So once I got that out of the way, like, now I just look at it like I'm so grateful that I put in the time, and that, my idols, people that I really loved growing up, can see me as their peer now because, I put in the work and I can make these like songs with them. It's like, it's a dream come true for sure.
I feel you there, man, completely when it comes to that feeling, even doing this and my own music, and, I just go, but, you when you put in the work, sometimes it is hard to sort of see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we all have, that voice in our heads that tells us that we're not good enough, and it's just like, no, like, sometimes you got to be like, oh, fuck you. Like, I am, you know what I mean? I put in the work, you work super hard at something, like, something's going to happen eventually. So I'm just really excited and grateful to be where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And especially coming down here, dude. And then, are you going to play some extra new ones? Are you going to give us some teasers of some new tracks?
Yeah. There'll definitely be some new stuff on the set list, and I'm just really excited. Even just like the fact that when I was younger, if I told myself, hey, you're going to fly across the world to Australia to play some shows, like, I would have lost my mind. So it's so.
That's so exciting, man. And of course, I mean, you're talking about your collaborations. Is there anyone that is still on your list, on your hit list, that you'd really thrown it out there in the world? Who's that sort of, we've all got that, that white whale.
Yeah. I mean, man, I would love, I'm a massive Linkin Park fan, so Mike Shinoda would be amazing. Also, Fred Durst. I know people be surprised hearing that.
Man.
That was like my two first bands that I really fell in love with was Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit. So that for me as a kid, like that's what I always look forward to, so who knows?
I reckon that could totally happen. I could see that. Hey, like both those dudes, I reckon they'd jump at it. 100%. 100%.
They're I just thought they're the most badass like musicians growing up, and it's cool to see them still killing it. So it's inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And of course, visually as well, you keep things really interesting. You've got so many videos that content is just, you're very creative, man. Like, where does that usually come from, and where do you want to sort of see that go in the next few years? Do you want to take that further into a visual aspect?
Yeah, I mean, before I was a musician, I was a filmmaker, and I graduated from film school. And when I started Nothing Nowhere, I was working as a cinematographer and an editor for an ad agency. So I had a 9 to 5 editing commercials, and then I'd go home and record songs to put on SoundCloud. So I mean, I've always loved the music videos. I grew up as a millennial. I grew up in the TRL era and just sort of the Headbangers Ball and all that. So I just think I've loved cinema. I've loved music videos, and filming and editing were my first loves, really. I mean, in tandem with music. So, I grew up filming snowboarding and skateboarding videos, and I need to create, and whether that's making a song or making a film or a music video, like I can't stop. So in terms of the next, few years, I want to keep pushing the envelope and hopefully just expanding on these like universes that I'm trying to create.
Full length? Do you reckon you go like a full length feature concept, like full Pink Floyd The Wall type deal? Like,
if someone wants to throw the money at me, I would be glad to. But until then, it seems like an expensive pursuit. But no, that would be amazing, honestly. Yeah.
See, that's me. I'm always trying to think of, the big picture, and then I go, oh yeah, the money thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like everything. Yeah, man.
Oh man. So of course, you got this tour coming up, a new album that you're going to tell me all about after we jump off. He's not really, but what else is coming up to 2023 and beyond? What's on the cards for you, brother?
Yeah, man. Just getting this new record out, and then in the spring I will be, following the Australian tour. I'll be touring with Wage War and Spite. So yeah, and a lot of people, as we're recording this, the album has not been released yet, and I have been announced on a metalcore and deathcore tour. So people are scratching their heads, and I'll be honest, I love it because they go to my Spotify and they hear softer songs and stuff, and they're very confused, and they don't know how to drop a heavy album. So it's gonna be a really fun one. I really want to push myself into a new scene. I feel like I've done what I can. And I've done a lot within sort of the SoundCloud alternative rap space. And I'm really just returning to my roots. I grew up listening to post-hardcore and hardcore, and that's what I'm making now. This new record feels like a passion project, really. Like I'm really excited. And just touring my ass off, going over to Europe in the summer, playing all sorts of festivals, Download, Rock am Ring, all that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year, but I'm excited.
That's awesome, man. And you know what? Before we go, that's the cool thing about you, though, is that you could go and do all that other stuff, and then if you want to return to the hip hop or the mellow stuff, you can, because you can walk between all the worlds. You've set yourself up like that, and that's the thing that I admire about you musically, is that there's no boundaries.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would like to, tell that to anybody really who's an artist, is just don't put up these weird societal walls and these genres and these labels, because you're only stifling, the true unfiltered art from your brain. So just do whatever you want, and if anyone doesn't like it, they can fuck off.
Wise words, man. Wise words. And dude, thank you so much again for hanging out on the show. We'll have all the links down here and on the website. I can't wait to see you soon. Mate, take care in your winter wonderland, and then get ready for blazing, brutal summer.
See you then.